Mercedes racked up 7 drivers' titles and 8 constructors' titles from 2014 to 2021, having initially mastered the turbo hybrid regulations, but major changes to the technical rules for 2022 caused them to struggle with a troubled W13 package. After a busy winter, the Silver Arrows will be hoping for consistent victories with their new W14 car, which will be unveiled on February 15th, one day after rivals Ferrari. Meanwhile, the team has provided some updates on their comeback as well as some intriguing images of the car being built. So let's take a closer look at the new Mercedes details and what we can expect from the team this season. In order to determine whether the W14 will be a step forward compared to its predecessor or not, it is important to start with the previous year's car. This approach makes even more sense in light of Toto Wolff's recent remarks about its continuity in terms of the solutions they are implementing. Sources both inside and outside the team have confirmed that the W14 will be a conceptual revolution in many ways, and the fact remains that for the majority of 2022, the W13 was a difficult car to fully exploit. Following the debut of the Zero sidepod design during the pre-season tests in Bahrain, it was clear that the Brackley team's goals of continued dominance would have to be scaled back. Due to the concept's proclivity for porpoising, Mercedes was unable to fully realize the potential that the engineers had identified in the simulators. To reduce the aerodynamic bouncing, ride heights that were much higher than ideal were required, which significantly reduced the amount of downforce generated by the floor. While the engineers working under Mike Elliott's direction looked for the missing performance, the car continued to behave in an unpredictable manner on a variety of tracks for most of the campaign. According to Toto Wolff, the W14 will retain a significant amount of DNA from their 2022 car. Instead, the major changes will occur beneath the floor, specifically in the diffuser and venturi channel sections, as well as under the bodywork. Teams will face a new challenge this year in making their cars lighter, as the minimum weight has been reduced to 796 kilograms. The gearbox will also be a significant evolution for Mercedes, with a different configuration of the critical rear suspension elements. At the power unit level, technicians led by Hywell Thomas are confident that it can compete with Ferrari and Honda. Significant effort has also been put into improving combustion in collaboration with technical partner Petronas, and a new fuel formulation has improved consumption efficiency. Wolff, however, prefers to play things down and is unwilling to predict Mercedes will start the season significantly better than it did last year. He believes that Red Bull, which dominated for much of last year, will remain the team to beat, and that Mercedes must remain realistic about how difficult that task will be. I think we have understood how we fell back, where the shortcomings are, and where we have gaps in understanding, explained Wolff. We're working hard on putting a car on the ground that has addressed all of that, but we will only see when starting testing whether we have unlocked the potential that we believe has always been in the car. We have no doubt when you're starting behind by half a second that it's going to be difficult to catch up to such great organizations like Red Bull or Ferrari. Now, having said that, we are super determined in doing just that, but we need to set our expectations at a realistic level. Mercedes' chances of fighting at the front in 2022 have been hampered by the team's emphasis on problem solving rather than performance gains. As a result, for much of the season, it struggled until a promising upgrade package arrived in Austin. Nonetheless, that longer-term approach suggests that Mercedes is in a better position this season, and Wolff hopes that his team will be able to compete with the frontrunners from the start in 2023, providing the platform needed to move forward. If we perform in the way we hope, then we'd like to be part of the racing at the very front, he added. I think that would be a starting point, but we don't take that for granted. It could well be that the gaps are like they were at the end of last season. I think there is so much potential within our car, within the concept, the way we drive the car, etc., that maybe our development slope can be steeper in the months to come. However, while the initial reports from the engineers in Brackley are encouraging, there is another factor that could have a significant impact on the team. As you may know, Mercedes' director of strategy, James Vowles, is leaving to become team principal at Williams. That decision could be a significant setback for Mercedes because Vowles was a key member of the team and a major factor in the previous 10-year success. Since 2010, Vowles has served as Mercedes' chief strategist. During this time, the team has won 8 Constructors' Championships and 7 Drivers' Championships. He has 21 years of Formula One experience, previously with Bar, Honda and Braun, where he won the first of his 9 Constructors' Championships. And given that Mercedes had their worst season in nearly a decade last year, losing such a seasoned team member at this point in time is not ideal. Wolff, however, believes Mercedes has enough strength throughout the organization to lighten the load, and Vowles has been involved in the planning for members of his strategy team to step up. One of the successes in our team has been planning succession, he said. We have been very reliant on James's ability, and a few years ago, we put an emphasis on how that would continue if he decided to do something else. James has been very good at setting that up. We have an extremely talented group of strategists. We have 9 people, some very senior, and I feel very comfortable with the structure going forward, and not that big weaknesses have been created. While Mercedes has long benefited from Vowles' involvement and will miss his invaluable advice, it has been revealed that a shift in approach took place as early as the middle of last year when he stepped back from such a direct. Mercedes removed Vowles from direct participation in strategy calls and assigned him new responsibilities in areas such as the Young Driver program and contracts in an effort to advance his career. Because of these changes, the Mercedes race strategy was already in place and Vowles only had to keep an eye on things. Mercedes expects to simply redistribute Vowles' other areas of responsibility among individuals at Brackley, which may be easier said than done, but it's not the end of the world. In fact, when Wolff informed their star driver Lewis Hamilton of Vowles' departure, Hamilton reportedly encouraged him. "I told Hamilton this week that this is going to happen," added Wolff, "and he's absolutely fine. Working with James has always been a great pleasure for him. The clever thinking on the Sunday mornings, that was good fun with James, always." I think his first response was, "That's amazing for James." I think this is maybe the important sentence. When it comes to James Vowles' departure, however, the focus has been on Williams potentially becoming a sister team to the Silver Arrows rather than the impact it will have on Mercedes. As a customer team, Williams already receives an engine and gearbox supply from Mercedes. It also aided George Russell's development for 3 years prior to joining Mercedes. However, contrary to what some around the paddock believe, Vowles clarified that his move would not result in a strengthening of ties between the two operations, even if his approach is more Mercedes-esque. "I wouldn't consider it a mini Mercedes," said Vowles. "Williams is an incredibly independent team in its own right that has formed its own history, its own heritage. When we ask our senior leadership what's the most important element for the team, it will always come back to 2 things at Mercedes: people and culture. Now, we'll see before setting foot in there. I'm unsure where we are at the moment, but it is the highest thing on my priority list, making sure that everyone understands that it's about working together. It's about empowerment. It's about treating your colleagues with the respect that you want back from them, the growth you want back from them, so that we can work together towards an end goal." What are your thoughts on Vowles' departure from Mercedes? Will it have an impact on the team? Do you think their new 2023 car will be able to compete with the likes of Red Bull from the start of this season? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. We appreciate any and all support, so if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, please leave a like, subscribe and click the bell to receive notifications. We hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.